Chapter 2 Getting There is Half the Fun. At the break of dawn, the Shastri family woke up for their long road trip from their home in Bengaluru to Panjim, Goa. Aksha and Ayansh climbed into the back of the car. It was a 620-kilometer drive, mainly on two national highways. Mr. Shastri set the GPS for the Karwar route, Bengaluru to Sirsi to Karwar to Panjim. A 12-hour straight drive. Starting the engine, he declared excitedly,
"All aboard, fasten seatbelts. Road trips make more memories than the destination itself."
10-year-old Ayansh was looking out of the window. Woken up early from sleep, 8-year-old Aksha was initially irritable. The cool early morning breeze fanning her face perked her up, and soon she was chattering non-stop. The sights of a typical Indian highway fascinated the children. They remained glued to the windows, enjoying the uninterrupted view of meadows with cows and buffaloes, quaint villages and towns zooming past. Vehicular traffic zipped past at high speed, which excited the children. Ayansh asked his father to speed up, but Mr. Shastri, a careful driver, declined. The milestones, large and clearly marked signboards, enabled him to assess the distance covered, stay on the route without losing his way, and observe traffic rules. This proved helpful, for there were speed limit radars along the highway, relaying information about speeding vehicles. A little way ahead, a few car drivers had been pulled over to the side of the road by the police for speeding. The parents shared funny and interesting incidents about road trips taken in their childhood, usually in rickety buses traveling on country roads. It was a far cry from traveling in a comfortable car on modern-day superhighways. The car stereo played in the background as the family engaged in light-hearted conversation. At 7:30, Mrs. Shastri passed around sandwiches and juice. Mr. Shastri ate as he skillfully drove the car effortlessly on the 4-lane highway. Around 10 o'clock, just short of Chitradurga, they crossed a number of windmills. "Time to stop for breakfast," Mr. Shastri announced as he parked at a large stopover with a petrol pump, several roadside eateries and public restrooms. The eating outlets were clean, equipped with modern facilities, and accepted payment by card or UPI. Mr. Shastri ordered a filling meal for the 4 of them and a pot of coffee for himself and his wife. The children ordered cold drinks. After the meal, they used the restrooms, and Mrs. Shastri was pleasantly surprised at their cleanliness. It was a warm day, and the efficient air conditioning in the car was a respite from the heat. They sped past cornfields, a sea of gold, followed by paddy fields, a sea of velvet green. Repair work was in progress at some locations along the highway, but this did not slow them down. Almost 4 hours later, they reached Sirsi, where they stopped for lunch. The Shastris chose a popular Mountain View restaurant with a large dining hall beautifully decorated with fresh green plants. The family opted for the non-vegetarian buffet and ate their fill of mouth-watering dishes. While Mr. Shastri paid for the meal with his credit card, the children filled in the feedback form. Post-lunch, Mrs. Shastri took the wheel. After an hour's drive, they reached the Jog Falls, the third highest waterfall in India, created by the Sharavati River, dropping 253 meters into the valley. Mrs. Shastri parked the car in the spacious parking lot, and the family proceeded towards the nearest viewpoint. Ayansh gasped in wonder at the huge columns of water dropping to the rocks below. He borrowed his mother's phone and clicked several shots. Mrs. Shastri was greatly taken by the beauty of the lush evergreen forests. After a brief halt, the family resumed their journey. As they drove along, Mr. Shastri observed that the highways were dotted with petrol pumps on either side, many of them having ATMs. A scrumptious meal and the rhythmic motion of the car lulled the children to sleep. Towards evening, having driven for close to 10 hours, they entered Karwar, nestled between the imposing Western Ghats and the mighty Arabian Sea. Eager to stretch their legs, they drove to the beach. The view of the hills, the sun setting behind the sea, the cries of the seabirds, the white sandy beach was breathtaking. After walking along the beach, the family enjoyed cool, tender coconut water and snacks purchased from local vendors. With some reluctance, they left for the last leg of the trip. The family bundled back into the car after using the restrooms. Dusk was approaching and Mr. Shastri was grateful for the well-maintained and well-lit roads. Everyone was tired and Aksha voiced her tiredness by asking,
"How much longer, Papa? I am tired."
Mrs. Shastri calmed her, saying, "In a while you will see the lights of Panjim. At the hotel, you can take a shower and we will order room service." The 15-hour journey on national highways and a few other roads with modern facilities had not been as tiring as they had feared. As the children climbed into bed, Mrs. Shastri said, "This road trip was long, but you must accept that it was both memorable and very comfortable." Access to essential amenities of reasonable standard makes the longest journeys pleasant and comfortable.